In a textile mill, the steady spin of the rollers hides a danger waiting for just one wrong move. The factory floor hums with the steady spin of a sectional warping machine. Wide sheets of fabric feed across the rollers, winding layer after layer onto a massive drum. Workers stand nearby, guiding the material as it runs smoothly across the surface. To the eye, the motion looks controlled, but the rollers are relentless. Once something touches, they do not let go. One worker leans close to guide the material. His hand drifts too near the roller, and in a split second, the spinning surface catches. The machine pulls the fabric tighter, its momentum unyielding, while nearby co-workers scramble to shut it down. Never, ever place hands near moving rollers. Even the smallest contact point can trigger a pull, turning a moment of carelessness into a serious hazard. In a chemical plant where pressure never rests, one sudden release turns routine into chaos. The floor is lined with reactors, valves, and thick pipes carrying volatile compounds. Workers in protective helmets move between stations, monitoring gauges and adjusting connections. The air is tense but quiet, with the hum of machinery in the background. Every system depends on strict containment to keep the energy under control. One worker leans over to make a quick adjustment near a valve. In that instant, a hidden buildup of pressure gives way. A sudden flash erupts from the pipeline, releasing energy across the platform. Nearby staff are jolted as alarms sound, the room filling with the roar of escaping gases. Never, ever open or adjust a pressurized line without full isolation pressure checks and emergency relief systems in place. In a busy workshop, one snap from above turns control into catastrophe. Inside the factory, heavy slabs are stacked and rigged to an overhead crane. The hoist lifts slowly, chains and cables straining under the massive weight. Overhead, the steel lines vibrate under stress as the load inches upward. The hum of machinery fills the air, masking the danger, building silently above. Without warning, the hoisting cables snap. The suspended load drops abruptly, sending vibrations through the floor. Dust rises and equipment rattles as the failed lift transforms routine work into sudden chaos. Never, ever trust a lift without proper cable inspection and load limits, because one snap is all it takes to bring everything down. In an automated sheet line, one slip in suction turns precision into disorder. This is a sheet handling and stacking system built to move heavy panels without manual lifting. The gantry arm, fitted with vacuum pads, lowers onto a stack, grips, and slides the sheets across to the next conveyor. Rollers feed material forward, while the overhead unit organizes the load into neat stacks. The system runs smoothly, designed to keep production fast and controlled. During inspection, the energized line suddenly cycles. Rollers engage and the gantry slides forward, shifting the stacked panels with controlled force. Anything left inside the operating zone moves with the automation as it follows its programmed sequence. What appeared calm transforms instantly into hazardous motion. Never, ever inspect or enter an automated line without lockout, because when power flows, motion follows. At a roadside repair, one tire under pressure unleashes a force that reaches beyond the worksite. The shop is alive with activity. Mechanics cluster near a heavy truck, inflating a large tire while tools scatter across the ground. To them, it's just another routine job. But inside the rubber, compressed air is quietly building. A few steps away, a woman passes with her child, walking close to the work zone without realizing the risk. Then, without warning, the tire gives way. Compressed air bursts free with a thunderous blast, rattling tools and sending dust swirling across the yard. The sudden shockwave sweeps through the space, rattling the surroundings and startling bystanders nearby. Workers react immediately, rushing through the haze to guide people away from the danger and restore calm to the site. Never, ever inflate a tire without protective cages or barriers. A single failure under pressure can project force across an entire area, endangering not just workers, but anyone nearby. A single panel door opens and the room is torn apart by a sudden arc flash. The room is lined with electrical cabinets, breakers, and controls, each holding high-voltage circuits. Workers move through their tasks, one of them opening a panel to carry out routine checks. What looks ordinary masks the hidden reality of live power inside. A violent arc flash explodes outward, flooding the control room with light, fire, and smoke. The electrical blast surges across the space with searing heat, scattering sparks and throwing the area into chaos as workers scramble to respond. Never ever work on energized switchgear. One unseen fault can trigger an arc flash powerful enough to overwhelm the entire room. Inside a busy warehouse, one wrong turn of a forklift turns routine movement into a sudden collapse. The warehouse is active, pallets stacked high and forklifts weaving between rows. Workers are focused on keeping the flow steady, maneuvering heavy loads through narrow aisles. Every second counts, but so does every movement. One forklift speeds in reverse with its forks raised. The weight tilts forward, the machine struggles for balance, and in seconds the entire forklift tips. Pallets scatter, equipment clatters, and the noise echoes across the floor as nearby workers rush toward the scene. Never ever speed with raised forks. A forklift can become unstable in an instant, and the weight it carries has the power to topple the entire machine. At a construction site, one sharp tilt of a lift turns a routine task at height into sudden instability. The boom of a mobile elevating work platform stretches upward, carrying workers in a basket to the face of a tall building. From below, it looks steady, the arm holding firm against the gray sky. Teammates on the ground watch as the work continues, unaware that balance at this height can change in an instant. As the lift continues, its balance shifts. The boom jolts, rocking the basket sharply at height. In an instant, the workers lose their footing, swaying with the sudden motion. On the ground, teammates call out and move toward the base as the platform tips under the strain. Never, ever step into a lift without a secured safety harness. At height, one jolt can upset balance, and only proper restraint keeps workers inside the basket. On the workshop floor, the lathe spins with steady force. One loose thread is all it takes to trigger danger. The workshop is small, cluttered with tools and unfinished parts. A worker in a bright shirt leans over a lathe, the machine's motor humming steadily. The drum turns at high speed, pulling fabric across its surface with mechanical precision. Around the room, coworkers move in routine rhythm, unaware of how close risk sits in the quiet spin of the steel. As the worker adjusts his stance, his shirt brushes the spinning roller. In an instant, the fabric catches, yanked with sudden force. The machine pulls relentlessly, its steady spin turning a small mistake into an urgent emergency. Nearby coworkers react in alarm, rushing to hit the stop controls and bring the motion to a halt. Never, ever wear loose clothing around rotating machinery. Even a single thread can be enough for a roller to seize, creating a pull stronger than any reflex. As the dump truck unloads, a single rock breaks free, and gravity turns it into a deadly strike from above. The truck tilts, spilling tons of heavy rock into the unloading bay. A worker stands close, reaching toward the steel gate as the material pours out. At first, it looks like a standard dump, the kind done countless times on construction sites. But among the sliding debris, one massive rock shifts loose. With nothing to stop it, the boulder drops straight from the raised bed. A worker is positioned directly beneath, and in a flash, the falling load transforms routine unloading into a sudden falling zone emergency. Never, ever stand under or beside the falling path of a dump truck's load. Gravity makes every rock a potential weapon. Always clear the unloading zone, guide only from a safe distance, and never rely on unstable piles to hold steady. A dump truck may carry material, but when raised, it carries risk. Don't forget to share what you learned today in the comments. Your insight could save a life. Take care.